We'll be going into Miss Shaw's room, and she's going to do a lesson over first aid. And there's lots of opportunities to do some hands-on activities, possibly, and maybe go through some real-life experiences. She's going to go the ABC levels of consciousness, ways to check. First thing, check for the heartbeat, breathing, and consciousness. And I think she can apply a lot of technology to this, maybe possibly some hands-on activities. A little cross-section, I'm not sure if we'll see the hands-on activities, but I know they're there because the time that we went through her lesson the last time, she did an activity where they drew bones and skeletons and stuff out on the sidewalk. And, that really brought the skeletal system alive.
Yeah, just getting the kids out of the confines of a traditional classroom. Anytime you can do that, it's going to be beneficial to the kids, beneficial to the teacher, because it just seems like they're more receptive. And I'm just going to do some really good hands-on activities, because that kind of class just kind of lends itself to doing a lot of hands-on stuff, obviously, because a great deal of these kids, maybe, I don't want to say all of them, because probably not all of them, but many of them want to go into that profession, want to keep following that track, and so they're obviously going to be, the kind of kids that are kind of intrinsically motivated to continue to follow that path. So this is something that's interesting to them. So it should be a good lesson.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing some of the aha moments that the students have too, seeing their reaction to her instruction. And some of them, I know some of them for a fact have had experiences where they have come across somebody that's been unconscious, or somebody that's been non-responsive, or whatever, be it a family member, a friend, or whatever.
And this is the protocol they follow if they find someone that's unresponsive?
Well, according to the lesson plan, it's the ABC.
Okay.
And, I'm looking forward to learning something myself, because the last time I went in there, I learned a whole lot about things that I thought I already knew something about.
Yeah.
And I love these CAPE classes, because in the CAPE classes, that's their future career.
Right.
And a lot of these children are wanting to become nurses or doctors, medical examiners, anything that goes, along with this.
Right. So there'll be a lot of good connection to the real world and real life, and a lot of follow-up that they can go out and see in the medical profession. So I think that's a good class to see. It's a good class to kind of get an idea of just what a teacher can do, because there's just all kinds of creative ways for that teacher to teach that lesson. So it should be a wonderful experience.
The last time we were in there, she did an excellent activity where she, did a writing assignment with it, a reflection, and I think that makes them do some very productive research.
Well, a lot of teachers, and it doesn't have to be a big writing assignment. It could be something smaller. A lot of teachers nowadays are using what they call exit tickets. Where you just write a quick reflection, or answer a kind of a review type, scenario that allows you to see whether or not they understood it. You have to turn that in before you can exit the room, and it's kind of a going thing right now. So it would be, and I'll be interested to see if and how she uses her writing assignment.
She used
Okay, we're gonna back up just a little bit, because I want to talk about level of consciousness again, okay? We talked about it a little bit yesterday. And so what is level of consciousness? What are we talking about when we talk about someone's level of consciousness?
Well, do they know person, place, and time?
Do they know person, place, and time? And why do we reassess it?
Well, because it can change based on how much their blood flow to their brain.
Depending on what's going on with them, right? Okay, so I want you guys to watch this video real quick. It's a couple minutes, but it shows you kind of the importance. It's another way to reinforce the importance of checking for level of consciousness.
The average American visits about 7 different websites before booking a hotel. I totally get that. We want to make sure that we get a great hotel.
Sorry.
One of the things that can be scary is a diminished level of consciousness in an individual. that we are witnessing as a bystander.
Now,
Hi, I'm
I'm
Captain
gonna
Joe
give you
Bruni.
some
What I'm going to
acronyms.
talk
I
about
would write that
is how to
down.
assess the level of consciousness in a patient or a victim of an accident or injury. Level of consciousness is based on a scale known as AVPU, A-V-P-U. The A standing for alert. Ask the person their name. Do they know where they are? Do they know what day of the week it is? Do they know the President of the United States? If they can answer these questions adequately, they would receive an A on the AVPU scale, that they are alert and oriented. If they do not respond to those questions, but they do respond to verbal stimuli by moving when you try to determine their level of consciousness, that would give them a V on the scale for verbal. If they don't respond to verbal, the next step would be to assess the level of consciousness using painful stimuli. Rubbing the breastbone with the knuckles, rolling the nail bed with something like a ballpoint pen or pencil, causing pain to see if the person responds to painful stimuli. If they do, they would receive a P on the scale. If the person does not respond to any type of the above aforementioned types of stimuli, they would be classified as unconscious and receive a U on the scale. When responding medical professionals arrive at the scene, you can already tell them the level of consciousness by following the simple steps of the AVPU scale. I'm Captain Joe Bruni. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
So we will talk. So if I were to ask you guys, if I were to ask you on your test, what is the most severe, what is the most concerning letter on the AVPU scale? What are you going to do?
You.
Because they are
Unconscious.
unresponsive. Why would we, so do you understand when they said, but alert and oriented is alert? Verbal is if you talk to them and you can tell them to blink or squeeze your hand. That's another example of verbal. Pain, it doesn't necessarily have to be poking their nail beds, but it needs to be something where you don't move their head or neck, and to see if they respond. It may be squeezing their little finger. Anybody's older brother ever played milk the rat with you? That was very mean. But they squeeze up on the little finger in the nail bed, bend this finger up, and kind of push the finger down. It hurts bad.
What?
That's the benefits of having 4 older brothers. But it's very painful, but it's very quick. That's what they do. Wait, what is it? You just bend the little pinky in and then start pushing up on that knuckle.
Okay.
If you do that, it is painful.
Oh,
If someone's going to respond to painful stimuli, they're going to move. And then unresponsive is just unresponsive. So I just wanted to go back over a level of consciousness with you guys. So now we want to talk about kind of getting some history of information. So we talked about that primary, the primary assessment, right, yesterday? Anybody? We talked about primary assessment.
Yeah.
So when you've gone through that primary assessment, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to see if you can find out kind of what's going on. So in the history of the event, you're going to want to know what their chief complaint is. Chief complaint is what's wrong, what hurts. If they can talk to you, you want to ask them. You want to ask about their medical history. If they're alert, if there's someone with them that knows them, ask about their medical history. So you're going to want to know chief complaint, medical history, and then what happened. And also you've got to be very careful to be alert about what's going on around you. So you want to know if you have walked up on an episode of domestic violence and someone's been injured, you want to make sure whoever initiated that act of violence, you want to make sure they're not coming back, right? If you witness someone being shot, stabbed, you're in a convenience store and there's a robbery and you happen to be fine and maybe someone else is injured, you want to make sure those people aren't coming back. So you want to be aware of the surroundings. Also, if someone has fallen from a ladder, you want to know what they fell from. If it's a motor vehicle accident, you want to make sure the car's not leaking gas. If they hit a telephone pole, you want to make sure there's no electric wires on the ground, right? Does anybody know how far you need to be away?
Really far.
12 feet or more. So if there's electrical lines down on a car, you have to be 12 or 4 more feet away. If you are closer than 12 feet, you can be shocked just like they can. You don't want to get out of your vehicle because the tires are they prevent you from, the tires in the car prevent you from being shocked. So you wouldn't want to get out of a vehicle. You want to make sure all those things are going on. If someone has fallen through ice because maybe somebody was on a 4-wheeler doing donuts on the top of a pond and it cracks and the 4-wheeler goes through and they go through, do you want to get in the water with them? No. Because you can't help them. And that's knowing the environment. You can't help them if you're going to be injured. So vital signs. You can't take vital signs like y'all learned, right? If you're in an accident or when you're rendering first aid, you're probably not going to have a first aid kit with a blood pressure cuff and all that stuff in it, right? But you can check heartbeat. You can check their vital signs this way. Do they have a heartbeat? And when you check their pulse, is it a normal, regular pulse? Is it real fast? Is it real slow? Or does it feel like it's skipping beats? Is it abnormal? You can check that. You can determine if they had a heartbeat when you first got there, but now maybe they don't have one. So you can check to see how their heart is beating. For breathing, are they breathing? Are they breathing really fast? Are they breathing really slow? You can determine their rate of respiration. What about if has anybody ever broken a rib? So when you bruise or break ribs, you breathe very fast and very shallow because it hurts to breathe deep. So you can tell if someone has broken ribs because they'll almost be breathing like a dog that's been running. They'll almost be panting. So you can tell how they're breathing. What if it sounds like they're breathing and they're gurgling?
Blood
Can be blood in the lungs, can be fluid in the lungs, but there's things you can determine. You know they're breathing, yes or no, and then you can tell those things about them. Is it a normal respiratory effort, or is there something else going on? Is there something abnormal? Yeah.
The one thing that's like connected to the lungs, why is one of them longer than the other?
It's just an image. Because when we did respiratory, they broke off, and then you had a lot of other brachioles out there, right, that went to your alveoli. It's just showing you an image. So, what about if someone's not breathing? In my purse, or not my purse, but in my car, I have a pocket valve mask. I keep it in my car all the time. That's only because I've had to render first aid and CPR on the side of the road more than once. Or when I did home health, I've had to do CPR more than once. So I have a pocket mask. Are you guys gonna have one?
No. What is the pocket mask?
It's a little valve that will seal over the mouth, and it has a little attachment that goes on it, which means I can breathe into it, but they can't vomit back up at me. So, or they can't, blood won't come back up in it either. None of those things will happen. So I have that with me. What could you do to prevent that from happening to you?
Like a plastic bag? No.
You would have to slit a plastic bag, but one of the best things you can do is put a shirt, a cotton shirt over it, over someone's mouth, not their nose, but their mouth if you're going to have to do CPR, because air will go in and stuff will come out, but not in humps. So you're still gonna want to do that. You're gonna want to render aid. So breathing, how are they breathing? How fast are they breathing? How slow are they breathing? That's what you can tell a paramedic, or you can tell a dispatcher. If you're using an artificial airway, so if you, like my pocket mask, and I'm going to be doing CPR, you want to give adult, a child, an infant, everybody gets 100 compressions a minute at a minimum, and everybody gets 6 to 10 breaths. Hopefully you can get closer to 10, but you're going to get 100 compressions. Whether they get a breath at all, they need a minimum of 100 compressions a minute. And that doesn't matter if it's a newborn or an 80-year-old.
What'd you see, Mr. Rome?
Well, I mean, we didn't necessarily get to see all of the bell ringer activity, but, on what part we did see, it's good that there was a little bit of writing in there. I'd like to have seen more writing during the lesson, but, the bell ringer, at least allowed, it's always a good thing it kind of opens up the discussion. It seemed to me kind of like she was gonna try to get outside the box, or have them thinking outside the box and so forth, and thinking about all possibilities, which is, in that situation, being first aid to an unresponsive person, and, you've got to be able to think quickly and take everything into consideration. So I thought the bell ringer was a good way to kick off the lesson. What about you?
I wish we could've got in there to see more of the bell ringer activity that she did, because I think, she exemplified the belief that not two situations are the same.
Yeah.
And that it's, like Forrest Gump says, it's like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're gonna get.
Right.
And, you just have to assess it by the ABC technique. I wished she could've used, I wish she could've used a little different technology, maybe utilize a smart board or something during the lesson, because, give the kids a little more hands-on activity too. And there wasn't much hands-on activity in the lesson, even though I think her question and answer series was real good. She didn't give the kids processing time, as much processing as they need. She would answer the question quickly.
Yeah.
Instead of letting them consume the question and think about it.
Right. I noticed that as well, just, because the whole thing is about trying to get these kids to think for themselves and think on their own, and yeah, that would be something that I would definitely point out to the teacher. On the, the PowerPoint presentation, I mean, she had several, embedded videos that showed some good illustrations of what the students would be expected to do in those situations. It's a good teaching tool, but, like you said, it could have been done a little bit differently, but, the video is always going to be an attention grabber to keep kids engaged.
But she's obviously pretty intelligent when it comes to her teaching class. I mean, she's been, a nurse, as she said, for 15 years, and very easy to listen to, and, speaks with a lot of confidence too, and I like that.
You mentioned about her question, the level of the questions and so forth. I mean, how did you feel that worked into the lesson at the end?
Towards the end, it was great. I think, and after we turned the video camera off, when she did the exit ticket activity where they had to answer a question from the lesson in order to leave early for lunch, the children popped off the questions pretty fast, and they had learned, and the children seemed to be really into the lesson too. I mean, they found it interesting. Right at one point before it, they talked about the type heater they have in their house and how carbon monoxide poisoning could happen.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought the level of difficulty of the questions was suitable. I think there were. The kids had to be paying attention. They had to be engaged in it in order to get the correct answers and so forth. So I thought she started out the lesson well with the bell ringer activity to get them thinking. I thought she ended really strong. Just in between, there was a couple of things that could have been done differently, but like you said, the kids were engaged. They obviously understood the lesson, enjoyed the lesson, got into the lesson. But we'll work on the creativity as far as the hands-on activities. I'm sure that's coming. We'll probably get to see that if we come in the next time or the next time after that.
Yes. And she did well with the distractions, because there were some of the students had to leave for an after-school for a school activity, and there was a couple that went in and out of the door, and she she got everybody else back on task. Refocused them. I think overall she did a great job though.
Very good.